Good morning to everyone. Wanted to come and visit with everybody. You know, I'm Johnny Dew. I walk dogs or in the evenings. No, we wanted to come and talk with you and let you know what we're doing. We're in room 209, and it's not a military business. It's not some secret thing in Venezuela. We're forming a community bank, and a community bank is I won't say different. Banks do all the same services, but community banks are focused on one market, Marion County. Locally owned, locally operated, local management, local people focused on the needs of the community, local directors, and more important, local customers. And it's very different from the larger banks. I know there's a few bankers in here, so it's a different market. I've been in banking 40 years. I've got Adam Woods working with me. He's only been in banking 25 years. I worked for SunTrust for 24. I've started two banks, one in Tallahassee, and then I had formed, and I know a lot of people here, I formed Alarian Bank. We started in 05. We sold it in 2014, and I've retired a couple of times, but they drugged me out of retirement to help them do something that the community needs. If you go back 10, 15 years, there were 10 community banks in Marion County. You all know who they are. Many sold out, a couple failed. In the last community bank that is left, which is a really good bank, Community Bank of Bank and Trust, has sold out to a credit union closing in the October to November time frame. So there will be, after the first of the year, except for us, we're hoping to open in the next couple of months, we'll be the only community bank in town. Now you say, why invest in a community bank? Many people can invest in many things across the United States and the world, but how many investments can you make where you could go down and touch the facility, touch the people, follow what we're doing, and see the growth that we will have? So we believe we have a very, very strong proposition. Community banks and Silver River Community Bank, we're going to have a focus. The focus is on small and medium-sized business and professionals. That is our niche that we will be going after. And the big banks, and big banks, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're big. They're out of Atlanta, Charlotte, wherever, and they look at the map of the United States because they're nationwide or southeast or whatever. And then they look at Florida. What do we want to do in Florida? And what do? They look at Miami, they look at Fort Lauderdale, they look at Orlando, maybe Tampa, and even Jacksonville is too small for them to look at. Imagine when they look at Ocala, if they even know where Ocala is. And they merge, they buy, nothing wrong with it if you've owned stock and done well, but they lose the interest level because they can't make loans and service the small and business people who their only source of capital typically is community banks. If you needed, as a retailer or inventory, you need $100,000 for inventory for Christmas, and you go to generally one of the larger banks, and they're really good banks out there, but their interest is not your $100,000 loan. They're going to take it, and I've seen they put it aside. And when they get to it, remember, they're more interested in a 3, 4, 5 million, because that's how they get their bonuses, whether we like it or not. It's real life. They then send it up to, I call it the ABCs, Atlanta, Birmingham, or Charlotte, and they take your forms, they get them sent up to underwriting, and really what they're doing is they're credit scoring you. And typically it'll come back with all these questions, and it's not to defeat you, but they're impersonal people credit scoring you, and they'll probably come back with a home equity line, because they don't have time to get to know your business and what you're about and what your character is and who you know and why you're impacting the local market. So we believe that there's a huge opportunity for a new community bank. There hasn't been one formed. There's only been 2 formed in Florida in 12 years and only about 12 to 15 in the last 12 years in the United States. And there's a reason for that. The reason is for forming of a community bank. And forming a community bank is exactly the same thing every one of you who's entrepreneurial, every one of you who's starting a business, we are doing exactly the same thing you are. The big difference between what we are and Don are trying to do that is a bank is federally regulated by the FDIC, the OFR, which is the state, and the Federal Reserve, so the rules are yay thick. The other big difference is a bank to start, where you could start off yourself and next year you have 2 or 3 or 4 employees. The bank has got to have a large dollar amount of capital. In our case, the minimum is $17 million. And it sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of capital out there. You just have to, just like you're doing, you got to go out, find it, call people, call relatives, advertise, do whatever it takes to raise money. So we're in the process of raising funds. We're well on our way. We still have a ways to go. The opportunity for us to encourage people to come to the bank. We are the opposite of and I call them the big banks. The big banks now go through the drive-in, use your ATM card, use this, and all they're saying is, please don't come to the bank. We don't want to serve you, because they've determined they can serve people cheaper if they don't have to deal with you as a person. We're the opposite. We've already bought the Barnett building, or Bank America, the one next to Harry's, or that new hotel. We're going to renovate the inside, the outside. We want you to come visit us. And as an example, one thing we're doing, we have a lot of technology, but also we have a coffee shop. I'm not talking about a Keurig, or we're going to have a coffee shop in the branch, that if you're a customer of ours, you can get coffee or tea for free. And we've designed it so the coffee shop could be divided off from the branch at night, so it could be open 7 to 7. And it's not magical. The coffee shop isn't anything. It's the idea that we want you to participate with us, come to the bank, meet at the Silver River Bank, join us in what we're doing. So we got a flyer in front of you if anybody's interested. I think there's $1 on it or something, so it's 10% of your first share. And make sure you get it, because Mike said he's going to go collect them if nobody else does, and help him with his retirement. But the minimum is $5,000. We've made it very low, so business people, the smaller business people, can participate with us. Many of the banks start at $50,000, $100,000. That's not what we're all about. This is Ocala. We're a touchy-feely community. People want to know. They want to have hands-on in what they do. So I normally can't talk for 5 or 6 minutes, so I guess open it up for questions before Dave yanks me off. So.